Okay, guys, let's get straight to it. This is lesson 10, week 6. I know I'm behind, I'm way behind, but today at 5, I'll be presenting. And then so, not necessarily presenting, but I'll be having a class meeting discussing week 4 and also the quiz they sent last week. I've been so busy lately, so yeah.
Will be the function that will be responsible for gathering all the information in the form and then submitting it to the server. Submit form, and then we pass it a parameter E. Remember, like we did before, this parameter is to prevent the default behavior. So we'll simply say E dot prevent default. And what is the default behavior of a form? When you hit the submit button of a form, the form reloads the page. Now, we want to avoid the page reloading. We're taking complete control of the process. So rather than reloading the page, we simply want this function to run and submit its information to the server. The next thing we're going to do is to create our form data object. So we'll declare a constant and we'll call it form is equal to new form data, and then we'll reference the form in our HTML section of the page. Document.query selector, and in brackets and in single quotes hash and the ID of our form, which is this edit form. Once again, check that your spelling is 100% correct and there's a match between the ID that you typed into the form and the hash ID that you put in when you are calling the query selector. All right, we have our close brackets, and we've got our form data almost complete. Now there's one more thing to add to our form data, and that is to add the API key to this form data object. So we're going to say form.append, and in single quotes, API key, note the spelling, lowercase API, uppercase K, comma, API key. All right, what's going on in there? Now what's going on here is we have a form data object that includes all the data that the user has submitted in this form. But the user is not submitting the API key. So we need to inject that API key into this form. And the function form.append simply means we're adding another bit of information to this form. So this form will have first name and the first name that the user typed, last name and the last name that the user typed, etc. So there's going to be key value pairs. So the key is going to be first name and the value of it is going to be whatever the user typed. Email will be the key and whatever the user types will be the email. So it has to be key value pairs. And what we are doing here is we're adding yet another key value pair. After all the fields in the form, we're adding the key value pair, which is API key, and the value of that will be API key that's coming from config.js. Remember, we've already put in the API key inside config.js, and that's what we're pulling here and adding to our form. Okay, now that we've got our form data object, we need to send this off to the server. We're going to do that in the next lesson.
Alright, let me post this. Next lesson, we're sending it to the server. 4 minutes. Good.